Okay, I've been getting a lot of questions about what Amendment 1 is all about. This is the solar amendment that is going to be on the ballot in Florida on November 2016, Amendment 1. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you a brief explanation of exactly what is going on here. I am currently logged into HelpSolarPower.org, and I'm just looking at some viewers pics. These are some pictures that viewers have sent in. Some of them are pretty cool, kind of clever. But anyhow, let's take a look here, and I'm gonna go into, let's see, questions and answers. Let's just go into the main page. Bear with me here. There we go. All right, utility-backed Amendment 1 blocks the sun. Vote no on 1 in November. So let's see. Quick facts about solar power Amendment 1 on Florida's November 2016 ballot. Amendment 1 was sponsored by the big utility companies to help the big utility companies. Amendment 1, if passed, would hurt solar power in Florida and increase the cost of electricity for all Floridians. So basically, Amendment 1 was sponsored by the big utility companies to help the big utility companies. If this amendment goes through, it's actually going to hurt solar power and it's going to increase electricity prices for everyone. And let's see who paid for Amendment 1. And there's a link to the website where you can find this. This is all public record at Florida Department of State Division of Elections, Consumers for Smart Solar. And let's take a look at their finance activity. And here we go. Top contributors: Florida Power and Light, Duke Energy, Tampa Electric, and Gulf Power Company. All power companies sponsoring this amendment to the tune of over $16 million. So they are paying a lot of money. So Consumers for Smart Solar should really be called Consumers Against Solar. All right, so I want to take a look. We'll come back to this here, but I want to show you guys what the actual amendment looks like. And there's a bunch of links here for some pretty cool stuff in here. But I'm going to scroll down the page until we actually get to the amendment. And here we go. Right there, we got it. So Amendment 1 will not promote solar power. In fact, it will do just the opposite. Amendment 1 is a blatant bait and switch amendment designed to fool and confuse voters in Florida. Here's what you will see on Florida's ballot in November 2016. And here is the complete proposed amendment, as you will see on the ballot. First sentence reads, rights of electricity consumers regarding solar energy choice. This amendment establishes the right under Florida's Constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property, generate electricity for their own use. State and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumer rights and public health, safety, and welfare, and to ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the cost of backup power and electric grid access to those who do. So let's break this down real quick. First two sentences. This amendment establishes a right under Florida's Constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property, generate electricity for their own use. So basically, this is nothing new. This is a right that we already have. Anybody in the United States can go buy themselves some solar panels and generate their own electricity. This is nothing new. This is blatant bait and switch. This was purposely put here to sound pro-solar, to make it sound like consumers now are going to have some new right to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property. We already have this right. We don't need this amendment to give us this right. We have this right. Solar panels are not banned anywhere in the United States. Anybody can buy them. Anybody can generate their own power. So this is just blatant bait and switch. This was put on here purposely to make it sound pro-solar. Second sentence, state and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumers' rights and public health, safety, and welfare. State and local governments shall retain their ability. Again, nothing new. They're just saying that they're going to retain their abilities. This is put here to make it sound like you're going to be giving consumers some more protections, when in fact, they're not giving you anything. They're not offering you anything new that you don't already have. Again, this was purposely put here for people who just skim through these amendments, who don't read them carefully, who just read the first one or two sentences. If somebody just read the first one or two sentences of this amendment, they would automatically assume that this is pro-solar when in fact it's not. They would assume that it's helping consumers when in fact it's not. And here we go. Here's the kicker. Here's the last sentence and the reason why these power companies are spending $16 million to push this amendment. And to ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the cost of backup power and electric grid access to those who do. All right, so let me explain to you what a sham, what a scam this is. Basically, they are saying that consumers who do not have solar are somehow subsidizing the cost of electricity to those who do. Basically, people who have solar, all they are doing is using less power. So they're generating power and losing less. And this is exactly what the insurance companies are all scared about, because it means less money for them. So here, this was at the very top. Consumers without solar do not subsidize the cost of electric grid access to those who do, just like SUV drivers do not subsidize the cost of gasoline access for people who ride the bus, motorcycles, or drive more fuel efficient vehicles. This makes absolutely no sense. You know, you are going to tell me that if I'm riding a motorcycle or if I'm riding the bus, that somebody else is subsidizing my access to gasoline? If I drive a Prius because it uses less gas than somebody who drives an SUV or a truck, does that mean that they're somehow subsidizing my access? This makes absolutely no sense. So we keep reading down. Consumers with solar power use less power, decrease demand, increase supply, and reduce electricity prices for everyone. This is what they're worried about. This is exactly what they're worried about. Lower electricity prices help consumers, not electric companies. This is why the power companies are spending more than $16 million misleading and deceiving voters in Florida. And then it keeps going on. The statement that solar raises electricity prices is a pants on fire lie. So let's get the facts here straight. Basically, what these power companies want to do is they want to be able to fine, charge, penalize people for buying less of their product or goods. So basically, this would be like the owner of the supermarket coming after you and telling you, hey, you know, you used to spend $100 in buying fruits from me, and now that you planted all these fruit trees, you haven't come back, and I'm not getting my $100 a month anymore. So it's not fair that other people that don't have fruit trees are subsidizing your ability to be able to buy fruit from the supermarket. This is insane. This makes absolutely no sense. So anyhow, this is a blatant sham. This is a scam. This is sponsored by the big utility companies to help the big utility companies. They know Economics 101 teaches us that if supply goes up and demand goes down, that the prices of whatever good or service are going to go down. And that's what they're afraid of. They don't want electricity prices to go down. They don't want people using less power. They want to make as much money as possible. And that's why they're pushing this amendment. They want to ban solar power because they know that if more people install solar power on their roofs, they're going to be selling less power. People are going to be spending less on electricity and they're going to make less money. So the power companies want to make as much money as possible, and that's why they're passing, this sham amendment. The sad thing is that we have people here in Florida who basically allowed this sham utility-backed amendment to be put on the ballot. This should never have been put on the ballot to begin with. This is blatant bait and switch. This is a scam. This is a sham. It's obvious that it's not pro-solar. It's obvious that it only helps the utility companies. So why? Why was such a sham, such a misleading, such a deceiving amendment basically put on Florida's ballot? And I mean, there's only one answer to this, and I'm going to show you right here. what that answer is. And I hope you guys log into HelpSolarPower.org and take a look at exactly what's going on here, because there's a lot of information here. This is the reason why. Right here. You see this? Who is sponsoring our governor? Duke Energy. Okay? This is what's going on here. Our governor and a lot of our elected officials got a lot of money from these power companies. A lot of these power companies paid, basically financed the campaigns for a lot of these people who are in power and are passing these laws. There's a ton of videos here. I wish I had more time, but I hope you are able to log into HelpSolarPower.org so you can find out for yourself. You can read about this and make sure you vote no on Amendment 1 in November. This is a sham. This is a scam. This is not pro-solar. So if you want to help solar power, you need to vote no on 1. Utility-backed Amendment 1 blocks the sun. Vote no on 1. So if you guys want to help solar power, if you guys want to have lower electricity bills in Florida, if you want to reduce your electricity costs in Florida, you better vote no on Amendment 1, because this is a sham, this is a scam. This was sponsored by the big utility companies to help the utility companies. This does not help the environment. This amendment does not help the environment. This amendment does not help jobs in Florida. This amendment only helps the big utility companies. So please, get out and vote. Vote no on 1 in November. Vote no on 1 in November. Find out more information at HelpSolarPower.org. That's HelpSolarPower.org.